Hola, we need to talk about Bad Bunny and his charisma because it is huge and I've been leaving this a little too long. So let's get into this episode. I first want to make an appeal to any Latinos who are watching this because you are the experts on this genre, reggaeton. You also know a lot about the dance moves, the beat and pulse of Latin America. So I would love you to weigh in. I'm an opera singer, so I'm going to give some overviews at the vocal level and the stage presence level, but I appeal to your insights. If I've left anything out, let's get the conversation going in the comments below. I want to do his full name justice, so let's talk about Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio from Puerto Rico. What an amazing musician. There has been a lot of debate over the years as to whether Bad Bunny is a good singer or not. So here's my take as an opera singer. Bad Bunny absolutely sings. He is singing. So if you're wondering whether he's cheating or just speaking or out of tune or anything like that, let's consider his vocal presence, which I think is highly strategic. Bad Bunny appeals to his audience. He builds mutuality with them. He positions the Spanish language right in front of you, using lots of slang terms that even maybe only Puerto Ricans know from what I understand. And this draws the Latin community in, but not only that, there's more going on because it draws everyone in. Bad Bunny opts for a style of singing that in opera, we often call it Sprechstimme. That's a German word. It's a style of singing where the performer approaches the text and lends the text this conversational tone so that they sound like they're speaking directly. The audience feel like they're engaging in a raw, dynamic and authentic conversation. And while it might sound less mannered, it takes incredible technique to achieve this because you need to have a good sense of cadence. You also need to understand the emotional drive between and behind each word. So when Bad Bunny makes these statements or invitations through his singing, he opts for this slurred, laconic sound that's very smooth, not highly punctuated, and not provided with a full sung tone, but it's still a style of singing. So if you've been wondering, does this guy even sing or is he just being lazy? He absolutely sings and he's always in time, which is why people who have good pulse and rhythm can dance with him. His music is very easy to dance to because he sets the meter with his style of singing. You don't even need a beat underneath him to know where to place the feet and move the hips and all of that. I mean, he's going to show you as well, which is bringing me to my next area. So Bad Bunny has a lot of strength when it comes to the way he uses his vocal presence. That signals charisma, and the fact that it's quite different from other singers around him, distinct enough to stand out, gives him this influence and memorability that creates him as this once only world-class artist, thus providing fuel for why audiences go absolutely nuts when they hear him. Apparently in the recent concert in Sydney, there was a 10-minute silence in which no musical numbers were performed and it was just the crowd erupting. Now, I also heard, it's all hearsay, so you can fill me in if you really know the facts. I also heard that Bad Bunny was completely overwhelmed at the reception he received with his first local Australian audience in Sydney. I don't think he really knew the size, the vibrancy and the connectedness of the Latin Australian community. So I know of friends who are flying up to Sydney just for this event, many of them Latinos, but also many Australians who are not Spanish speakers, who are trying their best to speak Spanish because of Bad Bunny, and they were all in Sydney. It was just an eruption of vivacity. And so for 10 minutes, apparently, according to one reviewer, it was a moment where Bad Bunny was on stage and the crowd was just erupting for 10 minutes. That is how powerful his artistic presence is. So we need to now look at what is it that drove that. All good artists have a deeper message, they have a deeper intent. And this applies for you to consider as well if you're looking at building up your artistic profile as a global performer, or even if you're a public speaker or industry leader, positioning your business at the forefront, you must have a deeper thread that runs through your messaging. And to serve a strong dose of charisma to your audience, it's very powerful to follow the research. And what I notice with Bad Bunny that works incredibly effectively is how he makes an appeal to the collective. So Bad Bunny is not just resorting to singing in English because he's in an English-speaking country. He just positions his language in front of you and you have to receive it because he's appealing to this collective view, which is, I am the voice of Latin America. I'm one of the many wonderful voices of Latin America. I will not shortchange my audience because this is my voice and this is our language, and let's position this at the front as a collective. His singing also gains resonance to those that don't understand or speak Spanish. And how does he do that? Through that vocal presence, but also through other mannerisms. Let's consider his deportment. He has a very rhythmic deportment. It's not always very fast, but it's got a lot of gyrating. I'm trying to be Latina, guys, help me out. It's very sensual and fluid and kind of elastic, and it's got this rhythm. I want to share with you a little bit about the brain. So when a speaker gestures with intention, it should follow the cadence of speech. And Bad Bunny has this very mellifluous, fluid way of moving while still indicating the cadence of the music and obviously the lyrics that he's singing. This is incredibly powerful because when the audience is watching him, our mirror neurons fire where we see his movements and where we hear his tone. And that creates this very powerful internal effect that alters our heart rate. So as Bad Bunny moves, he uses quite a streamlined stance. That's my observation from all the videos I've watched. He's not always super rapid. It's a rapid beat, but he kind of slides through it. And what that does is it somewhat relaxes our heart rate. When we see a rhythm like a pendulum and we watch it, our heart rate will mirror that rhythm. When we hear a pulse or a beat that moves at a certain velocity, our heart rate will match that velocity. We call this neural coupling, and Bad Bunny is absolutely coupling with you neurally and in many other ways. We should also mention some other visual cues that he sends. If you just close your eyes, I'm sure you can remember the striking outfits, the costumes and the attire that he has. He's unexpected. He dresses like no one else. It's a very distinct visual communication that he's presenting us with. The blocky, bulky outfit that he had, I believe designed by Zara, was striking, unexpected, and so clear on stage that it just drew the viewer's gaze to him. It really created this very sharp, robust line so that we could track his figure and follow his body as it moved so actively across all of the scenes in the show. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I wanted to provide you with some overviews of what it is that makes a global artist so profoundly memorable. So if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. You might like to subscribe to this channel. We feature eloquence reviews as well as strategies for the boardroom, stage, public speaking, particularly suited to executives, industry leaders, artists and founders. If you want to build up your charismatic stage presence for the boardroom, on stage, media appearances and more, at Cadence we partner with conscientious, competent professionals to boost their presence on stage using a bespoke, science-backed approach. You can find out all the details over on the website. I've dropped a few links for you below, as well to some expert guides that you might like to check. Bad Bunny has absolutely noted that a curated performance can also be conversational and heartfelt.